I just wanted to shoot a YouTube video real quick. Just wanted to share some information that has helped me and learned a lot. I think humility is a big thing that I learned in the past week. You know, just putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, and this is very important in all aspects of life and in business. Especially when you're trying to develop yourself into becoming a better leader. I think a lot of times when I was leading people with my old business that failed, ultimately, I wasn't the best leader because I failed at humility. And humility is putting yourself in the other's shoes. I think when you're being a leader or an entrepreneur and you got a team, right? You need to be able to put yourself in your team's shoes. If you're leading them, how do they actually put yourself in their shoes? If they made a mistake in your business, put yourself in their shoes and understand, how did that mistake happen? Why did they make that mistake? But I think this is a huge thing when it comes to leadership. It's so important to be able to understand the position of other people inside your company. Yeah, you gotta not only think about them, but you gotta think about yourself a little bit too, because you can only help people if you are in a position where you helped yourself and you've grown yourself. But you can't build a dream without a great team. And you follow the most successful people out there that have had massive impact on the world in one way or another. They got a team. They built a team. So humility is just letting go of ego, right? Confidence and ego is definitely a hard thing to separate. Confidence is believing in yourself, and ego is that fake, phony mask that you put on that stops you from being yourself, right? If you're scared to post on social media because of what people think about you, that would be like an ego thing that's holding you back, I think. Because I think there's maybe going to be a couple handful, maybe 25 people, let's be real, that are in your childhood or in your past or drainers anyways, that are going to comment and say negative stuff. But by you being scared of those 25 people, maybe holding you back from reaching millions or billions. Depends how big your goals are, right? But this has been a big thing for me to realize, like when I was scared to promote or I was scared to market, it was actually, and I'm shifting from leadership to a little bit of promotional and other things. But I think if you're scared to market or promote yourself or your business, you're actually being a little selfish. It's actually selfish to not promote, to not market, to not talk about maybe some of your insecurities, because there's people out there that are going to learn from that. Like I've been battling the past 2 years and I haven't been talking about some things, or I haven't been as vocal as I normally am on social media. But like I literally went to an event last week and it made me realize I was being a little bit selfish by not sharing that story. There's going to be somebody that just went through a divorce that's going to be able to relate to my story because my story was dark. There's going to be somebody that failed as a business owner that is thinking about throwing in the towel on being a business owner or whatever. Life, right? You know, there's a lot of people that commit suicide every day because they quit on life. Like by not sharing that story of you going through those dark times, those dark moments, you might not be impacting people that really need to hear it. I went to this event last week and I had a conversation with a gentleman, very successful gentleman. And he shared a story with me he doesn't really normally share. Like I could tell he wasn't comfortable talking about it. We were sitting by the campfire and I was talking to him and I had to pry a little bit to get it out of him. But he shared a story with me. I'm not going to say too much of the details. Maybe in the future I can get him on a podcast or something. But he talked about a very dark moment of his life about 5 years ago. You know, he was using alcohol and he wasn't himself, like, and he made a mistake. And He didn't tell anybody really that story. There's very few people in his life that know that story. But I was able to have a conversation with him, and he totally opened up and shared, and got uncomfortable and shared that story with me. But what it did is it gave me perspective, and it was literally the exact conversation that I needed to hear. So by him releasing that dark, uncomfortable conversation that he had built up, he felt better talking about it too. Like, sometimes you'll actually feel better talking about the things that bother you. So he felt better talking about it after it was done, but I could tell as he was talking about it, he didn't enjoy it very much, which is respectful. But anyways, the moral of the story is, it literally gave me so much clarity and information, and was probably the best conversation I had in the past 90 days. It was real. It was honest. He went through something very similar that what I just went through, and he recovered. He's crushing it now. He's doing great. He found God. He's not only making money, but he's got a lot of the same core values that I have, that I either have or I want to have, right? Like faith, tremendous faith, and, being successful, helping people, right? But he said, here's the thing that was really just like eye-opening. He said that he would go through it 3 times over again. Deepest, darkest, most uncomfortable, most difficult thing that he went through, like what he could describe as hell, he would go through again and again and again, because it shaped him into the person he is today. If you're listening to this right now and you're in the furnace, maybe you're in the furnace, maybe it feels like you're just getting so much pressure, you're getting burnt, you're getting singed, that fire is just breathing on you. Remember, iron isn't iron for no reason. Iron is iron because it goes through tremendous heat and pressure, and it's tortured almost to be able to be strong and be great. So, I hope this touches with anybody that's listening to this right now. If you're going through something heavy, if you're going through a setback, you're going through a challenge, a divorce, a business failure, drugs, alcohol, I'm here for you, man. And I've been sharing my story on social media, not for me, for you. I was a drug addict, 8 years clean, and that was the second hardest thing I went through. Hardest thing I went through was my corporate bankruptcy 2 years ago. Bunch of negative stuff. It was difficult, man. But I want to share the story to help you out. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Just keep showing up, man. Just keep showing up. Get around positive people. Listen to positive podcasts. Listen to YouTube people that are sharing their stories that have went through something similar. If they're willing to share that information with you, just take it in, because it's knowledgeable. There's a lot of successful people that went through dark times. And a lot of successful people, if you study them, of what they said when they went through those dark times, it forged them into something greater, and it helped them realize their purpose. That setback, that challenge that you're going through right now might just be God's redirection. So I appreciate you listening to this, some information that I learned in the past week, and I hope it's valuable for you. If it is, hit the subscribe button below. I'm going to continue to share some inspiration and some motivation. And if you haven't checked out my podcast or my other social media channels, make sure you do that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.